In 1969, after the space race and after a spectacular effort from the people at NASA, the first steps were set on the moon. But what if that happened 60 years earlier and humans weren't the only thing on that moon? That is the plot of H.G. Wells's The First Men on the Moon. This book follows two like aristocratic type men. I personally pictured Benedict Cumberbatch and President Theodore Roosevelt. Those sorts of looking people are speaking in posh English accents. They discover a new element that has the ability to send them to the moon. But once they get there, the moon holds secrets. This is a fairly short and easy read. It's about 160 pages. I've now read 3 of H.G. Wells's books with The Invisible Man and The War of the Worlds. And obviously in 2025 now there are a lot more impressive, I guess, and inventive science fiction stories out there, but I think you need to take into account that these books were written in like the year 1900, not the 1900s, the year 1900. It's insane. I mean, War of the Worlds was first published in 1898, which is ridiculous, and obviously, you know, books have been going for a lot longer than that, but when you think about science fiction stories and sort of science fiction, it takes the fantastical elements of like mythology, like Greek mythology, things like that, and brings it down to humans are the ones acting like gods, if that makes sense. But anyway, I've got books in my bookshop that are multiverse spanning science fiction fantasy books, but they were written 10 years ago. They weren't written 70 years before the actual moon landing. So as much as I've not been blown away by the individual stories of the few H.G. Wells books I've read, firstly, I've liked them all. They've all been pretty good. But also, when reading them, you have to take into account the fact that these are science fiction heritage. But even when you take away the impact and the culture, The First Men on the Moon is a fun book. It was written at a time, of course, where we won't have been to the moon for another 60 years. So it has fun and it speculates with what the moon could be like. I feel like if you're into science fiction literature at all, you should probably just read a good amount of H.G. Wells's stories, because he's a formative writer in that genre. And also, it's just fun. It's weird how it's so old, it's so impactful, but at the end of the day, it's a fun read, and I had a good time with it.